Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time. As you can see, we're at 1080p. Everything's at max, yada yada yada. These things off, just because. Yeah, I'm going for some older games right now, but because for one thing, Linux really excels at running older games much better than newer games. I wanted to show newer games, but anyway, I think I'm going to find something interesting and right. Okay, so I'm just going to play something from all three of these games, which all work pretty much flawlessly, while telling you what doesn't work flawlessly. I'm just going to show you this trilogy, because after this I'm going to move on to the Humble Bundle games, and I want to give them some more time to fix some of the bugs, since most of the Humble Bundle games have only just been released for Linux. Cutscenes, because of the processor, cutscenes run a lot faster than they should, and the sound, of course, runs in time. So in long cutscenes, the speech of the characters will be completely off. Physics, so fabrics and hair and the like, is moving too fast because of modern processor features.
Can you hear me?
As you can see, cutscenes will be out of sync.
Help me!
The second part of the trilogy, Warrior Within, which everyone seems to hate, to be honest, it is kinda sad. Again, 1080p max settings, fog is on, everything works pretty much fine. The cutscene bug is gone, so cutscenes will work at the correct speed, but the physics bug is still there, so physics will still run too fast, which causes a bit of a problem because you're supposed to swing on ropes which are affected by physics, and if the physics is going haywire and you run across a wall to a rope, and then you try to grab it and the rope is swinging in midair as if it's being held by some sort of a ghost, then you have a bit of a problem.
Just like your own shadow, Prince, you will never be free of me. You're just out of reach. Alert the others! How is this possible? Alert the others! Down, down, and down! Down!
You will pay for this transgression.
Down, down! Down, down! Down, down! This offense will not be forgiven.
I'd best find that woman. She's probably gone for reinforcements.
Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones. Arguably the best of the three. Anyway, 1080p. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's a really old game. Pretty sure most of your computers can handle this. Old max settings, yada yada yada.
Babylon. It's so far away. As a child, Father would tell me stories
Pay
about...
attention. Something's happening down there.
Is that... It's the Vizier! He has been completely transformed.
Interesting. He has used the power of the sands to transform his army. And these artifacts will allow him to transport them across the city with ease. He appears to be in complete control. Things do not look too good for you at the moment.
I will not let the Vizier have Babylon. My city. My throne! He has used that beam as a gate. We will follow him through it. What's happening?
Well, that certainly went according to plan, did it not? You really should know by now that entering portals made of sand only leads to trouble.
I will simply have to resort to a more traditional form of... transport.
Hopefully with greater success.
Separate them into two groups. Send the weak ones to the workshop. The strong must go to the palace and arena for changing.
Now in this game, all of the previous bugs are fixed. Cutscenes work, physics work fine. The only problem is that, and I've seen this in other games, is that they use a plane to sort of delimit where a post-process should work. Like they put a plane, a transparent plane on top of, say, a pond. And then this will let them post-process the pond to make it look more like water. The problem is that they don't do proper occlusion culling with this in DirectX, so when it's ported to OpenGL by Wine, the plane shows up through objects. So if you have your pond behind a wall, you can see this big square thing where the pond is, and it's still doing post-processing for water. But that's not a big deal, it occurs maybe 5 times throughout the whole game, so...
Wonderful. Do we not have enough to deal with already?
Now here you can see that bug I mentioned. You can see the plane that they used to
That chariot.
apply shaders to the water, but you can see that it's going through the wall because the occlusion culling isn't working properly. Or something like that. As you can see, the shader effects distortion, lower resolution below. They probably lowered the resolution so that it's easier to render post-processing.
Are you sure you can control this thing?
Let us hope. If I crash, it is the end for both of us.
The prince! Stop him!
And so once more the prince began the journey home, his mind afire with visions of the justice he would visit upon the vizier.
Be vigilant. Turn right. Head left. You have done well, Prince. Though I'm sure it was not intentional. Watch out! That was close. Behind that column.
We made it!
Hold your horses!
Come on!